We got our last international game of the season here as the Washington Commanders and the Miami Dolphins are going to be facing off in Madrid on Sunday morning. You want to talk about the Commanders? Or do you want to talk about the Dolphins?
I'm going to go with this Dolphins run defense. Now, we know the Commanders want to run the football. Obviously, it's been a little more of a struggle to get vertical on offense without Terry McLaurin, with Marcus Mariota in at quarterback, right? But they still want to run the football with Mariota himself, with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, with Chris Rodriguez, Jeremy McNichols, right? They still need to be able to run the football to succeed. But we've seen a major turnaround in this Dolphins run defense. The first 5 weeks of the season, they were the lowest graded run defense in football. Trevor, over the last 5 weeks, they have the highest run defense grade in football. It's just been as polar opposite a turnaround as you could find, and a big part of that is that their defensive line has played a lot better. We talked a lot earlier in the season about their defensive line really struggling. They have so much talent up there, but they were playing below their talent level, right? Zach Sealer and Bradley Chubb. Kenneth Grant, the first-round pick, has gotten a lot better the last few weeks. Get Jordan Phillips involved in there. They're only getting negative grades at the second, it's at the second lowest rate in the NFL over the last 5 weeks, seventh fewest missed tackles, and again, their defensive line really leading the charge here, just playing better up front. You saw it with a lot of these five-man fronts they used against Buffalo last week and really shutting down that run game. This has been a trend for about a month now, so if they continue this play in run defense, it makes things a lot easier for the secondary. You put your team in better down and distance situations on defense. I really think that's been a big turnaround, and this front seven has become a threat with the D-line playing well, and Jordan Brooks at linebacker has been outstanding all season.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Brooks has been playing well. Jordan Phillips has been playing well. Their rookie there, Kenneth Grant's been playing a little bit better. And so the defensive line, yeah, overall, and I think that's why it was such a storyline for us at the beginning of the year. As we go, this unit's way too talented to be struggling the way that they were. And now, did I think they were going to be the number one run defense like they have been over the last couple of weeks? No, but I think the truth is probably a lot closer to how well they've been playing lately versus how bad it was to start the season. On the other side of things, with the Dolphins offense, you know, we've talked about this quite a bit. At the beginning of the season, I highlighted how if the passing attack wasn't running through Tyreek Hill, the return on investment and the EPA per pass numbers were relatively low. He was basically their only consistent explosive threat. He was the guy who, when they got the ball to him, you were going to get points out of it, or you at least had the best chance to get points out of it. Now that he's out for the season with that knee injury, the pass game has still been good some weeks. But Dalton, what we've realized is that if there's not explosiveness in the run game, if there really isn't this balance, or if they can't really lean on those guys in the backfield, well, if you just have a pass-heavy day, a lot of times defenses are going to be able to key in on what Tua is doing because he is so much of a pre-snap read type of a quarterback. The ball is coming out of his hands so quickly, and so if there's any sort of safety rotation or, you know, a linebacker dropping to a spot where he's not expecting it pre-snap, it's easy to sort of slow down and even create some turnovers on this Miami Dolphins offense. But when they are running the football, we've seen that's where they get their wins. That's when they really become a tough offense to stop, even with Tyreek Hill not in the lineup. So when I was looking at their run game specifically, there was a set of run plays that I noticed they're performing very, very well, and that is with pull leads. So counter plays where you've either got a guard, a tackle, sometimes both, who are pulling and lead blockers on a single play. 80.3 rushing grade on plays that involve a puller or those counter plays. And I pointed this out on Monday specifically. I feel as though Patrick Paul, their offensive tackle, has been fantastic at that. Just getting him in open space, getting him to the second level, allowing these offensive linemen to, maybe they're not going to bully you up front in a phone booth between the tackles, but a lot of these guys are athletic enough to pin and pull to the outside and block well enough in space. And that's really where Devon Achane can do a lot of his damage anyways. So the fact that is their highest graded run blocking play is also a great sign into sort of having that identity in the run game. And when you look at the Commanders, I just feel as though they've really struggled in that regard, getting these guys out in space where the linebackers have to flow and take on offensive linemen. Like, they have the ability to do it, but it just has not been very consistent. Nothing's been going well for the Washington Commanders defense. All that to say, international games are weird, man. And with Dan Quinn taking over as the defensive play caller now, I think that he is, I think that he's going to notice things. I think he's going to have this defense just naturally take a little bit of a step up. And with these international games, I really never know what's going to happen. So I'm actually going to take Dan Quinn in this one to win the chess match against Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa with one or two extra turnovers here. And I'll actually say the Commanders are going to win this game by a score of 24-20. Who do you have in this one?
I think it's actually a great call on the Dolphins with the east-west nature of their run game. And I think these linebackers, Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu, absolutely love them. But you mentioned it earlier in the week, too, that they like to get downhill. I think between the tackles, if the Dolphins try to run in there, they're going to have some issues, but they might be able to outrun them to the corner. I like the way their front seven is playing. I like the way that they're getting their guys in space. And Jalen Waddle, with a big week against the Bills last week, he could be in for another one against a struggling Washington secondary. I'm actually going to take the Dolphins 30-24. I think both teams are going to find points in this game and some explosive plays, but I think the Dolphins' speed makes a big difference in this game.